Oh, just as I sneeze. Welcome to Planet Collingwood here on Revolutionary Radio. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. This is Studio A. It's my birthday in Los Angeles and Hawaii. Hawaii for the next 3 hours and Los Angeles for an hour. So I've been drinking a lot of beer and watching Lord of the Rings. So this is going to be an interesting show just from my standpoint. A big thank you to Tony and Co for the Y-Files. If you enjoyed what Why Not and the boys, I'm saying hello boys, and the gentlemen were sharing, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can. We're 100% listener supported, so thank you for all those who have donated to the station to keep Studio A and B on air. We are in our 11th year, second decade. I'll just say it that way, because we started in January 1st, 2011, back in the old days where there wasn't fake news or, well, there was. Anyway, we'll get into that. Yes, I'm 48, 16. I'm 16 again, so thank you for that. You and your calendars. I was born on a full moon, though, so that throws into things. Anyway, once you're at the website and you've donated, click on the Patreon and shared some cash as within reason. Look at the petrol prices, gasoline prices, fuel prices. Just look at the prices. Pop into the merchandising and buy some caps or mouse pads or T-shirts or onesies for the little ones, if you're brave enough to have little ones in this strange economic time. And then pop into the chat room where it's going off like a frog on a sock on a fry pan, or what's another one? Oh, going off like a prawn sundae in the sun. There you go. Milkshake. Anyone? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to have fun. I have been joined by my usual suspects, not the film, because, the director and one of the stars are linked to some shady material. Anyway, I've been joined by Cortek, Raz, Bruce MacDonald, and I believe Micheal has rejoined. I can't remember because, and of course my cat's meowing at me because, it's been 4 minutes. Gentlemen, how are we all?
Good, thank you.
A young'un's entered the room. So, what's that in young'un speak?
Pretty good.
Okay, so they keep changing it. Gank, yeet, all these weird words that the English language is creating.
I didn't think it was, but yeet is definitely part of the English language now. Whether it's been included on any of the new dictionaries, it is there to stay.
But it kind of makes sense because I can see yeet means to throw or to throw or thrust, and I can see someone saying that, making that noise when they throw something.
Yeah, or someone got yeeted off something.
Yeah. I'm just going to yeet myself off air because my cat's crying at the back door. So talk among yourself. 5 minutes in. This is a professional organisation. I'll be back in a second.
I imagine you flying off the chair.
Man, I just got to say this out loud. Monty is completely pussy whipped.
Hey!
That cat literally runs his life.
Fluffy pants. No, scoff chops.
Punch bag. I mean, scoff chops. Yeah. I got to the door and she ran away. I'm like, oh, you're such a cat.
Classic cat.
Yeah. So if anyone's had a cat die, they can just, apart from the grief, you just imagine that the cat's deciding to walk through the pearly gates, and so Peter's going, "Hey, pick a side. You walking in? You walking out? Come on." What, cat jokes? Not too much? Oh, but there's a war going on, and it's not like, yeah, well, we can talk about Yemen. Yeah, we can talk about Yemen, yeah, but also... Oh, dear me. Children, eh? Who'll have them? You do know it's talk radio, gents, right?
Well, we're waiting for a little leadership and direction, Monty. We don't want it.
What, talk amongst yourselves is too talk amongst yourself. Oh, what does he mean?
What do you want? Understand. Like a Ukrainian frontline roundtable?
No, Yemen. We're talking about Yemen.
Can I say I'm the dog's bollocks on the air?
You are.
Yes, you can, because Americans have no idea what that means. So English people are giggling because we know that's actually a positive affirmation.
A good thing.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
well, let me.
DT it is. To DB.
So lull number 14.
So I'll read a headline. So this is officially. So let me begin by saying that, first of all, hi guys, it's nice to be here. I enjoy these Tuesday nights.
Hello.
Hey guys. The first thing I want to say before we get right into it is, like, the most important thing you can do right now is your own individual spiritual practice. And it seems counterintuitive because war and conflict are such a communal experience. But it is really necessary to get your house in order, to get yourself grounded, and to be able to live and live in conquering the fear of death. It's very, very important right now. So the number one thing everybody should be worrying about, take away 50% of the time that you watch YouTube or Fox News or whatever news you watch, and put that into meditation or prayer or whatever your spiritual practice is, because that's what's going to really count after everything we're going to have to go through. Now, that said, let me begin and get right into it. So this is China's Xinhua News. So one of the things I like to do, I've mentioned this numerous times on air, is I like to round out my news reading from different countries. And it's very easy to do that in 2022, okay? Now, I'm not saying anybody is telling the truth more than anybody else. What I am saying is you need to read 3 or 4 different national perspectives on what's going on to find the truth in little bit, because everybody everybody gives up a little bit of the truth and then butters it with their own propaganda and self-congratulation, like we're right, we're the heroes.
No,
and the early
Freudian slip was correct.
Sometimes slip out something that they redact later on.
Yeah, but
are you two married?
We're engaged.
Are you two married, Cortek and Monty?
We're engaged.
It's like marital communication here. You're talking all over each other.
They are.
I only bring it up because this is like the 3rd Tuesday in a row I've noticed it. Even in a 5-person roundtable, nobody else will trip over each other. But Cortek and Monty, you guys are dancing with wooden shoes.
Well, sometimes just trying to say the same thing, I think.
I think it's
they're soul family.
We're channeling the Sydney, Melbourne.
All right. I'm sorry. Never mind. I didn't mean to take over. I don't know.
Well, you just said you weren't going to take over, and then you followed through on taking over. This is the Vladimir Putin of the roundtable right here, Micheal from San Antonio.
That's just like you can say anything you want if you say no offense before it.
No, you can't. No, you don't, because I'll take offense to that. Yeah. Michael, you have something to share. No, he doesn't. Back to you, Bruce.
No.
So this is the official China Xinhua News, okay? So rumors have been circulating, but it's so hard to know what is true. And to the best of my knowledge, no national news agencies have come out and said this. We've gotten it already from alternative media, but I mean, you got to run alternative media through like one of those sand filters looking for a gold nugget when you're panning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the headline. The Russian Foreign Ministry confirms that authorities in Kiev destroyed dangerous pathogens of deadly diseases stored in U.S.-funded laboratories in the country. So this is, and originally, even Putin's intelligence told him there was only 12 or 13 labs there. There's actually 30 or more.
Mm.
So
well,
this is a really, really negative country, guys. It's right up there with Israel and the Mossad for the shit they're pulling.
Well, the thing is, if I may talk, a host, hi. It actually did come out in a Senate hearing where it was only a conspiracy theory 6 days ago, and then it came out in a Senate inquiry or whatever they, had a meeting. There was a lot of wood for desks, and they said, the U.S. forces or U.S. has been trying to destroy or remove all the biolabs, and so China probably just stepped, but it has been confirmed. So conspiracy theories to fact is now down to 6 days.
Was it 3 months? About 3 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting that, of course, the Chinese were pointed out because, in a way, they like to deflect whatever's happening in their own country by pointing fingers at everyone else.
Well, they've kind of been, pointed the finger at as them being guilty for it the whole time, which everyone knows they're not.
Oh yes, we know. I mean, we could list everything that China's doing wrong, but this bit that Bruce is sharing is true because it has been reported from a Senate committee, and it's like, okay, and it's more of that hypocrisy transparency thing that we're talking about, where we really don't have to go digging. We just let them keep making mistakes.
Further to that, then, is really to think about the people who went out and spread it. Then, in 12 Monkeys style, probably from a briefcase when they were asked to open it up to check things at borders or whatever.
Someone
had to.
Whatever is in control of the simulation won't allow that to happen, and that I think there's a sense of humour in the controlling element of whatever we're in. Because we just had COVID, so do you think? Do you see the government's coming out? Oh yeah, by the way, there's a real pathogen out there now.
This whole thing's going to blow over without even people looking into it, and we're just going to be left with this residue of masks and checking into stupid places like we were with the residue of 9/11 being the aircraft checking.
We still have vaccine passports here in Victoria.
That's so dumb.
Oh yeah. It's just pure chaos now. There is no consensus between what nations are doing. Everything has gone into some kind of dictatorial nonsense. There's a great terror behind the scenes because if they don't pull off this great reset, they're all going to get killed. Okay, we're now at the point in the timeline where we stop them, and I don't think that's going to be possible with civil process, warrants, depositions, and all that bullshit. They control all those systems. So we're at a point where we kill them or they kill us. And I don't mean to sound like hijacker here. And I'm not saying pick up arms. I'm just saying start thinking about that. Because we haven't been told the truth even through the Trump administration. Did anybody get any reasonable explanation about what caused those California fires or why the richest country in the world can't put out a bloody forest fire? Or why it was such an erratic fire and what it destroyed? Taking houses down right to their cellars, leaving all trees, including the greenery on the evergreens, intact. How the hell does that happen?
Oh yeah,
I think they're called magic fires.
Yeah, car wheels melting and a meter away a tree's like, dude, that's intense.
So can I say something?
Directed energy weapon for sure. I think.
So, anyways, let me just finish my point, and then we'll scoot over to Raz there. We haven't been told the truth for a long time now. I'd say it's, I don't know.
Possibly everyone's entire life?
I mean, they've always been liars, right? It's been a shit show since
Always.
World War II and Paperclip and MK Ultra, but it's just through the roof now. And in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I mean, Monty and I were talking about this earlier off air today. Do you remember back in the day when something happened, it stayed in the national consciousness for a decade or longer, like Richard Nixon, like Charles Manson?
Oliver North.
These are weekly, if not daily, news stories now. Yeah, Ollie North. Yeah, that's another great one.
Well, was it when they came out with when the Navy came out with footage of the UFOs and UFOs confirmed, what everyone was thinking, everyone was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well, that was the third, and that was the third time that they shared that footage. It didn't take traction, if that's the right way of saying it. Gain traction. And yeah, it was like I remember there used to be a free sort of crappy newspaper here in Melbourne called MX. That was they had it out free. It was propaganda light, but on page 7 at the bottom of the page in a paragraph, by the way, aliens are real. No one noticed it because they buried it. Page 32. Grace came back, was upset and went home.
Let's do a full stop right there for a moment, and let me ask a question. Why do you think this reality is so difficult for people? The Christians will tell you it's it's all demonology. Other people will tell you, oh, it's the spirit world. No, it's neither of those things, you idiots. It's literally what it is. It's aliens. Okay.
When they're saying difficult, what do they mean?
Oh, and they magically show up. Suddenly this becomes a global phenomenon. After World War II is when it really, really picked up. Now, can anybody guess why that might be? Probably the same reason cancer rates have gone up 10,000% since 1945. Nuclear testing. Because nuclear bombs not only destroy our world, they go right into the multiverse and
They
right
seem
into
to,
dimensions around us. What do you mean they seem to? Did you take a ride and glance out the window?
Well, I've seen lots of examples of seemingly when we have disasters of even nuclear or whatever disasters, you see examples of trying to reduce or minimize the damage that nuclear weapons are doing in this world by things that don't seem of this world.
I mean, they seem to. Did you take a ride and glance out the window?
Well,
Yeah, Harry, can you turn off your...
Oh, Jesus, here we go again.
Oh, no, Bruce, be fair. You came in very clear. So I think the audio problem is not a problem no more.
Okay, all right.
This is where you say hello, Harry.
I don't, Is that better?
He's
doing
take
that
your
on
balls
purpose.
out of the vice.
Is that better now?
oh, that's
Yes.
crystal clear.
Yeah, compared to last week.
Well done, sir.
Oh, is that what-
Well done.
I sound like that normally anyway.
Yeah, thanks for adding to the conversation there, Harry.
Well, number 16.
Yes.
Well, look, I was out today, the same sort of thing, there's this lollipop girl at the crossing there, with a mask on, and
Yeah, free will, yeah.
and I just had a bit of a conversation while white lights change sort of thing, and I says, I don't think we'd have to wear masks in Victoria now, is it? She goes, no. She goes, but I choose to do so.
I spent a long time getting my own floral pattern mask made myself, and I spent a lot of money on it, so I just like to wear it for fun these days. Like,
Yeah, well,
around.
actually,
Yeah.
my dad actually wears his because he's turning 80 this year, and so he wants to protect himself. So, free
what?
will and...
He can protect
Happy
himself from
birthday
someone just
to
hocking a
Lonnie.
big loogie in his mouth. That's about all it protects against.
Yeah, well, thanks for that image. Hey, Dad.
Cop this.
Son, get out.
See, it worked.
Ah,
I'll clean it.
protects
I'll clean it this time.
Yeah, but I mean, in Victoria, people in retail, like supermarkets and so forth, have to wear a mask while they're on duty. But when their shift finishes, they can take off the mask and walk around their workspace. So science, everyone.
Science. It doesn't make any sense. How did it stick? It does not make any sense.
Well, it's not science because here in Victoria, it's basically the science is good.
Hearsay.
We have to follow the science. Can you show us the data?
Well,
No. They won't show the data. Like,
Well,
they
Bruce,
still haven't shown the reason, the scientific reason for the the curfew that we had from 9 p.m. till 5 a.m. And that was almost 9 months
there
ago.
is none.
What Bruce was saying before, with like likes of Halliburton and all the different things that cause this trauma on the planet. They've twisted it around to a psychological imposition on ourselves that we are the problem, that we are the terrorists, and people are still believing that, it's playing along with the game.
Yeah.
People think that they're terrorists.
Well, they're in survival mode and they're afraid. And some people still believe they watch the media and the news, even though you can point out the media, the media's been lying to you about coronavirus for 2 years, but now everyone's jumping onto the war bandwagon, and it's like, really, yeah.
Well, they're terrified of people walking around without wearing masks, or they were, and that's the thing, is the old divide and conquer strategy we've done on a coconut way.
What?
The divide and conquer strategy doesn't need to exist. The problem is in the DNA we wear. Until that part is fixed, you're not fixing anything. Forget bath sits, forget 3D 5 cents. That's just for, beginners. Unless you understand the genetic code that is your body, once you understand it, you will see that the problem is right there.
What's the problem again?
What's the problem? Piles and piles and piles of codes that are very similar to programming language that says everything right now that you're seeing in the world is quite literally genetically programming to you for you to believe it, for you to do it, for you to suffer like it. So until those codes are not fixed, people won't be fixed. Don't expect some magic to happen, like one day people will just wake up. If you knew the extent in the last, say, 20,000 years, then 50,000 years, then 450,000 years, the amount of genetic engineering that's been done to the body we're wearing, you'll be amazed. From the way we eat, to the way we sleep, to the way we believe, to the way we want to worship, the half of the idiots out there who will do everything you command them to do, it's all genetics. So
I do love your custom.
Does that make you a fatalist?
Sounds a tad cavalier, but I'll let it slide.
Well, I do love the customer service in play. You're all idiots. Save yourselves.
Well, it's about programming. That's all it's about.
It's not all right. You can call it that, but it's just how it is. It's
that makes you a fatalist.
Well, no, but you can still do.
No, that doesn't make me a fatalist. That doesn't make me a fatalist. You breathe air. You breathe air. That makes you a fatalist. No, you're genetically programmed to breathe air. That doesn't make you a fatalist.
Well, that's
so
just
how
that
is true.
That's how you survive on the planet.
True.
Yeah.
Look, the thing is that this knowledge has been known for thousands of years, okay? For thousands and thousands and thousands of years by very few people. But it's becoming common knowledge today. And hence we see the veil thinning, so to speak, between.
It's in the tablets, it's in the chimeras, it's in Zachariah Sitchin.
Yeah,
it's in pretty much everything. Yeah.
The cheetah, even as an animal, is a genetic mix. So
all human beings are chimeras. All human beings are Frankenstein of the animal kingdom. If you think about it, if you understand psychology on an animal level, you will see that you will see a lot of human behaviors in animal the more you get closer to animal. And I recall once Bautzit said, our education system needs to be reformed and we need to be taught animal communication, which at the time sounded a little bit weird. I'm like, wow, why the hell would you have a bunch of kids go woof and meow all day? But in reality, he was actually speaking about that part because he understands the codes. So I want to go back a little bit before we go into the genetic part. Earlier, Bruce was talking about the biolabs. If you knew about what's going on in the biolabs, I got tons and tons of fire right now. I've been reading for the last 2 years about everything that's been going on in the Ukrainian biolabs, testing in Georgia, Russian DNA, Ukrainian DNA. My God. I'll just boil it down to this. That's exactly what I was about to do. The Ukrainian biolabs were actually testing bioweapons specifically engineered for the Russian haplogroups. Now, the fun thing is that Ukrainians and Russians have very different haplogroups. There are over 5 different major haplogroups. If you start from basic R1A to the E1A to the C1B and et cetera, but they were still testing it. And I even got the file where they specifically asked for the asset, that is, the synovial fluid that they needed. Is specifically engineered for Caucasoids, meaning Caucasian, Russians.
Yeah, it did seem on a country-by-country basis to be specifically tailor-made early on.
Yeah.
Country by country.
That's what the bird flu virus was about when it was dumped in the lake in China.
Yeah, which would not surprise me on, because of that the bases on each continent were probably doing their own viral stuff.
Let me give you a timeline quickly, and then you can go banana nut butter. In 2006, there was a guy by the name of Moshe, who was an Israeli microbiologist, who was quickly swatted and tasered because he was about to spill the beans on it. The biolabs he was about to spill the bean on Ukraine, and the Brazilian one, the one south to where Bruce is. The Brazilian one was the Zika virus, where they introduced genetically modified mosquitoes in Brazil, and that very spot became a hot zone for Zika. Before that, there was only like a few sparse here and there case in Africa, and the last known case was in 1947, 2 years after the whole World War boom. Fast forward 2017, we had the Ukrainian mess. 2014 to 2017. 2019, we have a lot of biolabs. Let's just say it's revving up in the Ukrainian biolabs. And now, 2022, we have Putin bombarding with missiles the location exactly where the US biolabs are. What Putin just did, Putin just destroyed years of work of bio weapons. Now, I don't know if all the assets have been moved already or if they haven't, because Ukraine has been full of all kinds of foreign agents for years now. If you look at, say, the Ukrainian government right now, it will make a joke, looks like, how can I put it, silly? The current Ukrainian president is what? An actor. The chief of staff is a comedy producer. The head of the presidential administration is a lawyer in an entertainment industry. The chief policy advisor is a comedy writer. The deputy chairman of Ukraine is a comedy film company boss. And the Ukrainian National Defense Committee, Sergei Slavov, is a comedian.
That's a pretty good last name for a comedian.
This is the government in Ukraine right now. And it's all of these guys bow to the US. Okay, and we have over 140,000 Ukrainian boys and girls missing in the last 10 years. 140,000. That's like 500,000 people.
Yeah, they got to keep those numbers going somewhere. Got a little bit topped around Pigsgate.
They were used for all kinds of experimentation. Most of the X-Men movie you watch, where you see all kinds of secret experimentation going, it's pretty much self-disclosures on this crap. The movie Logan is a self-disclosure on Mexican kids, illegal kids.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, but it is a big self-disclosure. Go watch the movie Logan, you'll see. Yeah, so these things are going on, and if you guys want maps, you guys want documents, I can give you tons of it. I have it all right here. I've been reading for the last 2 hours. Now, what do you guys want to talk about? Whatever you want.
Well, with that permission, let's get going.
After lull 17,
and now we return you to Planet Collingwood. Thank you, Raz.
And now to your regularly scheduled programming.
So apparently
we interrupt this transmission for an emergency broadcast, Monty.
Oh yes, excellent. I want banana nut bread. I like that. that sounded awesome.
I'd like a banana nut butter.
Nut butter. Sorry, I thank you for the correction. I do like the labels that you put forward. They are unique and wonderful.
I don't mind the comedy, but sometimes you guys say things that are slightly but outrageously off the mark, and you're just like,
really, on a comedy show.
I respect these guys so much. It's
but outrageously.
Yes, but the thing is, there's like 142 hours of other shows to talk about it as well. So,
yeah, I know.
And also, it's all part of our cunning plan to get it wrong, so the alphabet agencies don't realize we're actually giving out information through comedy.
It's a cunning plan.
I'm still grappling with slightly but outrageously.
Oh yeah, how does that work?
Peaceful,
how that works.
Like
most fiery, but mostly
at a restaurant.
peaceful.
Yeah, you're at a restaurant. It says how would you like your steak cooked? I'd like it rare and well, please.
Well done, rare.
We should just make everyone use that terminology for steak everywhere. I'd like my steak slightly cooked, but outrageously something.
Of course, the truth is, comedy aside, because this is a comedy show.
Yeah, it is.
Raz is outrageously well informed and usually right. And if he corrects me, I'll accept the correction. with a joke.
Yeah,
Indeed.
That-
What I'm
that's how it
actually
works.
doing is supplying you guys like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes of serious material. Then our chef Monty and his co-chef Cortek
Sous chef.
do the needful. Sous chef,
Shut
sorry.
up, wife.
Get back in the kitchen.
Oh, have you noticed with the
That-
Ukraine, a lot of feminists are going back to the kitchen. It's fascinating.
It's a lovely place
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, it's safe
Bon,
too.
You get some
Bon,
phones
there's
in
a
there.
bunch of files I linked. You guys can go play with it if you guys want it. And as for Harry is live as something Harry. My Skype is still not naming him Harry. I don't know why, even though I have him as friend, I think.
That should be classed as an inside thought. That last one.
He wrote soul codes. Soul codes are completely different, Harry. Soul codes happens when you meet someone and you have an interaction or you get into their field, you exchange codes.
Yeah.
Even right now we're exchanging codes. Like you can pass a
Yeah.
beggar and you exchange code with him. You
Yeah,
can
because you're referring to DNA, which is the skin suit technology,
I
which
was
is
referring
part.
to the insert technology, which is
Yeah, which is-
essentially organic program code.
Yeah, because the soul goes into the. So you could enter a family lineage and then take on all their crap. And it's like, why did I agree to this? Mind you, I would say that a lot of our bodies that we have now, we've probably been in the DNA lineage to clear up the mess, and that's what I find fascinating as well. It's we're not just working out our own problems, we're clearing soul family and DNA lineage, and we're cleaning up everything so we can move forward. And that's the fun, weird time that we're in.
Plus,
Yeah.
possibly trying to
But
use
yeah.
a computer that can do anything if we can work out how to use it right.
Whether you're in the lab or in life, living, all that's to do with changing the DNA is about your light, the light that you draw within.
When you started talking there, Harry, I thought, oh no, he's doing a beer commercial. Whether you're doing it in the DNA or you're doing it in the lab, you can
There
drink.
there are some codes we can't exactly change, no matter how willful we are. For instance, I know French scientists discovered the part of our brain that automatically starts deleting memories, indirectly implying that in our natural state we have photographic memory, but in this in our current state we can remember past 15 seconds.
I think it's
That
a
was
RAM
done-
ratio.
That was done on purpose. Our urge to worship was done on purpose. Our urge for
Lifespan.
sex, lifespan, sexual activity, everything is done on purpose.
Yes.
And it's just how we are right now. And earlier, Bruce was saying life is hard currently, the way we are, reality and all that. Well, it's just the meat suit we live in. It's shit. You're going to have a shit
think that's a
experience on the
little harsh.
road if you have
You're not thinking of starting that self-motivational school, are you, Raz?
Yeah.
self-motivation.
You're all shit. It's very French. Yeah.
Your starting point is murder.
All right.
Origins of feces.
Let's hit the tuning fork and reprime here, and we'll start with a serious. Yeah, we'll start with a serious note, and then you guys can have at it with the comedy. So, as I've already said, this is a life and death situation. I mean, not for everybody. Probably people in certain desperate parts of Africa will be fine. They're not going to walk from their mud hut to go get a vaccine. Nobody's going to bomb them. Nobody wants. Yeah.
This time.
No offense, Raz. I mean, I know you're close to
You
Africa.
can say anything when you say that.
I know
Yeah.
because, earlier I was told.
It's called
Doesn't
Nimbin
matter,
here
please-
in
Please go on, Bruce.
So I just want to get a few pinpoint tomahawk missile ideas out, like one at a time, and hopefully they'll stimulate conversation. Okay. So the first idea I gave tonight is like, this is us and them. So the next question is, well, who's us and who's them? Well, us is us. Them is our own leaders. You don't got to worry about Vladimir Putin. You don't got to worry about Xi Jinping. You don't got to worry about Kim Jong-un. We got to worry about Joe Biden, Justin Trudeau, and whoever the jackass in Australia is to bring in our people from the prison colony.
Yeah.
I
But
believe he's the Dan Andrews.
you got to, and look,
If I had a metal cup to rake across the bars, I would right now.
The good thing about Victoria is there wasn't a penal colony, so we're the rich end in town. So I take offence to the penal colony reference. Also, the
Yeah,
last show, we should put all the elite in Australia. Frack off, no. But I did say, to give points to Tony, he did mention my plastic island. My plastic island idea, because
like that.
we're karma free. We bunch up all the plastic, put all the elites on it, and film them.
What
we're karma free.
What I just want to add to it on a tech basis is a little bit like the driver that had to drive for his life, and he was like, I'd like it all to be kind of filmed like Big Brother style, and you could pay for interaction with them. Like if someone's walking past, you can put out one of those big punching gloves on a pole and give them a big right hook just out of the wall while they're not looking. Stuff like that. That comes with the premium pass.
Yeah, but you'll attract karma. Anyway, Bruce, continue. You're locked on, so you're poised to press the button.
So everything that's going on external to your nation state, particularly the three nation states I just described, Canada, United States, and Australia, okay? Everything going on external to that is involving resource, time, energy, mental and emotional tension, and spiritual degradation to participate in it. Spiritual degradation being lowering your vibration to fear and violence and all of this crap, okay? All of it is a distraction. The real war is your leaders against you. Now here, listen to this. Russian banks turned to China's Union Pay after Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal suspended operations in Russia. And India has now joined in, creating a 3 billion person non-dollar trading bloc. The dollar is America's biggest export. The decision to push almost 3 billion people, Russia, India, and China, into trading with each other in currencies other than the dollar will go down as one of the most short-sighted and self-destructive policies in U.S. history. That's not an accident.
No, it's not. It's true.
The term "how the other half live" is real now, because you'll see how the other half are actually living. Because it is that stupidity. I will push them away from everything. Like Facebook's not in there. Pornhub's been restricted. MasterCard and blah blah blah, and Facebook and everything else. Like Russia sounds like a utopia now, because they haven't got all these controlling systems in there messing with their heads.
May I interject quickly? You notice how of all the letters R, C, I, you're only missing the letter B to get the BRICS, the BRIC nation they used to talk about before.
Well, Brazil is neutral in this. I just want to add that. So yeah, correct. They've come out and said, "Oh no, we're Switzerland. Switzerland joined the side, and Brazil hasn't."
No. I want Brazil to stop using the reserve currency dollar. That will be pressure. That will be.
I love how when all these decisions, there's these secondary side effects that are better for the side that was trying to be taken down. It was just, I love it.
Well, it's taken this long, but the US and the UK are going to stop getting Russian oil and paying for it. So enjoy your bills, everyone.
Enjoy your dollars.
This is how they deal with America. We know how they deal with Australia. We know how they deal with Canada, because we're not armed and they can beat the shit out of us, okay? And what's been in the back of my mind this whole time is, how are they going to deal with America? Well, you're looking at it right now. There is never going to be a sandbag war with your AR-15 and your Bible. No. And all these crazy Christian crackers have been talking about it for a decade, and I've been saying for 5 years, no, it's going to be a different kind of war. It's going to be psychological. They're going to use different weapons like the vaccine, the bioweapons. And then I thought, well, how are they going to collapse this magnificent American economy? How are they going to break the spirit of these people? Because a long, protracted guerrilla war in America would destroy any country that went in there. Here's your answer. So you couple this. So Joe Biden has just terminated the petrodollar and the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. Yay, Joe. Is MSNBC telling you that? No. Is CBS telling you that? No. Is ABC telling you that? No. Is Fox News? I don't even think they're telling you that.
Of course they won't.
Okay?
Because most people don't know what the reserve currency is, actually.
Do you realize do you realize the level of gaming out that goes into war preparation, even when you're not going to war? They're always doing these simulations on Cray computers. Are you telling me they didn't know that if Russia invaded Ukraine, we would probably lose the reserve currency status, and our gas would go up to like $8-9 a gallon or $2 Canadian a liter. Okay, so this war is on America. It's not on Ukraine. They're just a distraction. Okay, and people got to wake up to this, you know. And it's just it's getting to a point where it's really alarming to even watch this. Okay, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm in a safe part of the world as long as you don't get clipped by a gangbanger down here. And yeah, but I'm in a safe part of the world, and I'm in a safe place, and I have massive food production capacity here and massive food already growing here in mature fruit trees, yucca, and like the possibility of perishing up here is 0 to none, except by accident or old age or disease. Okay, so I don't even have to worry. I don't even have to worry about this crap anymore. But emotionally, I'm connected. I love Canada. I love Australia. I love the United States, even though they've been jackasses since about 1984. I still love that country. Okay.
I also just like to share some behind the scenes here from Planet Collingwood. Bruce said before the show, let's bring the light and love and the comedy to the show, and I want to thank Bruce for doing that right now by just going the complete opposite. And so we'll snap back and we'll do a lovely joke. But it's still valid information. I will give you that, sir.
It is completely valid. It's completely. Well,
I'm kind of on the same page as Raz tonight. It's very hard to find comedy in this material. You know,
it's not. Because the entire thing is absurd. It could be seriously absurd, and it could be comedic absurd. There is comedy to be found. Now, you may need to get a large shovel to find it, but there is comedy involved.
Are you calling shenanigans? I'll go get my shovel.
No, I'm not Irish.
When it comes to the difference between Australians and Americans, a spook told me a funny story. He says when the Americans go in, their sniper squad go in, they're full of cigarettes and cologne and stuff like that, going to spook out in a jungle. This is they get picked off because they're easily targeted.
Delta.
Yeah, I've had Vietnam veterans point that out when certain patrols went out. They would have boom boxes playing music and cologne, and
it's okay if you're in a chopper.
Well, yeah, I mean
playing what Wagner.
Yeah, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Thank you.
Can I just say, I mean, not a lot of people talk about it because people don't really know, but all the revenue and money is not going into movies; it's going into video games. I'm playing something at the moment called Armour. It's a military simulator, and the creators of it actually went over to Greece and all that kind of stuff and got put in jail for 6 months because they were mapping out these islands to use in a game, but they thought they were spies. But it is a trend of people moving more from a PvP situation, a person versus person situation, to a mass co-op situation. I don't know if they're more thinking about AI or anything like that, but people don't really go so much for a person versus person game anymore. What's really, really popular is massive co-ops, and this is one thing Armour does. It does this Vietnam kind of version of the game that's better than the actual game. It's so sweet.
Yeah, the video game I play is called Melbourne Traffic, and I'm so glad we're not armed.
Is it kind of like Frogger?
Almost. Like, wow, this road can hold 300,000 cars, so let's try and put 2 million on it. Yay.
The video game I play is Catch Me If You Can on video when I'm out there busking or trying to get the video of the people that record me.
How do you let your users submit the video if they do catch you?
Via Facebook.
That old CIA program. Oh, yeah.
May I say something quickly? Just 1 minute. Then you guys can go back to the comedy.
Yeah. Just talk. Don't break it down.
No.
I like to interrupt.
This is going to be a funny bit.
May I secure some space for my friend Raz to speak, please?
Thank you.
There you go.
That's diplomatic ties right there. We need to start our own.
No, you're married. If I'm married to Cortek, you're married. Yeah.
But
it's bilateral. It's bilateral. I like that, Bruce. It's bilateral.
Yeah.
So, see, just to go forward on what you were talking about, the reality and how it is. One of the fundamental mechanics our reality function on, whether or not you look at it in terms of physical, spiritual, quantum, our reality is a placebo belief-based reality. That's its fundamental mechanics. Now, that also means your reality becomes what you make of it. However, in the current situation we are in, for 2 billion people, every second of every day for the next 6 months, they will feel that pinch in their wallet. They will see their life change so much. They will not be able to go into the spiritual, I'm going to build my own reality and be spiritually grounded. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Some of you, some of you would be saying that's a bad thing. You have to be spiritually grounded, even though there's a war there. But at the same time, we need this war to wake those assholes up.
Well,
because they've never been
stop calling them names. There's an idea.
Sorry.
Fair, because what happens is the breakdown of the system that they've believed in causes the rise of their spirit, and this is what happens to people. So, coming from a enlightened point of view is a good thing, but everyone has the opportunity through the whatever fold path you take in life to become enlightened.
Well, it comes down to choice in that respect. Like, we can throw in consent. Like, why is the world like this? Because they've tricked people into their consent. And what's being shown is, you can choose to be enlightened. Yeah, you're one choice from Nirvana, the place, not the band, obviously. Mind you, I've seen a great meme. Like, if you had a time machine, where will you go? I would go see Cliff Burton playing Metallica. But that's just me. You do your inner work, and it is placebo universe where what you put out comes back. It's a reflection, and so you have to figure out what you've consented to, and you can still be. It's very hard, but you can still be a neutral observer. I don't complain. No, this is for me. I'm the center of my universe. You're the center of your universe. So it may be slightly different for you. That's the joy of creation.
What I wanted to follow up on was Bruce is in his own little hole. He's safe. I'm in my own little island. I'm safe. Will it affect us? Yes, it will. But we have our greens. We have our cattle. Our pregnant women won't miscarry. But what about the remaining 2 million people in the Anglosphere, Francosphere, Eurosphere? They're going to suffer a lot. Now, for us enlightened individuals, we're pretty much looking at a dilemma where we can stay grounded. We can be, emotionally conflicted, because I know Bruce is, I know you guys must be. If you're not, you're heartless. We are emotionally conflicted because we are staying grounded in our little place in here, looking all good, all fine. And we know these people have to suffer. Why? And we don't want them to, but they have to suffer for the awakening to come faster.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is there a constant thought that you have to suffer to grow?
Well, suffering.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Suffering in many ways, Cortek, is the burning off of karma. It's a purification process. Okay, you're getting rid of a lot of the lower thinking and feeling processes in your consciousness, because they've externalized into a situation that finally forces you to realize that you've been thinking and feeling very, very poorly.
And you get yourself into those situations. Yeah.
Absolutely. We do everything to ourselves. Anybody who claims they're a victim is an idiot or a liar.
Now, it's not the only way, but it's, the language here is going to really sound crap. It's the simple way. It's the easy way. Help me out here with the word I'm trying to
All you need to do is speak funny and then say, is it? At the end.
No, you're fired.
Oranges,
but what I'm saying
trees,
is, there are ways. If you're blocking out the omens that universe is putting forward, you eventually will go through a form of trauma or suffering, so you can make that through. However, if you're aware of it, you don't have to go through a traumatic stage. You can see someone else go through a traumatic stage and I'm not going to go through with that, and you can do the inner work. So the percentages is probably 95% trauma and 5% not as much.
There's also
but the planet's kind of designed to like my parents went into.
Sorry, go on.
Jesus, Cortek, you guys. Get a divorce.
Don't
Who will
call
get
him
the cat?
Jesus.
Who will get the cat? Who will get
Yeah.
the cat?
Who's interrupting now?
I'm going to go to the
Monty.
Ukraine, and I'm going to one of those biolabs, and I'm going to mess around with Scoff Chops' DNA, and then once she's the size of Battle Cat from He-Man, I'm sending her to Mauritius.
You know that's only going to work if
Oh.
you have a Ukrainian cat.
So,
We have
Monty,
we
I gotta
have
break.
African
I
wildcats.
gotta break my neutrality here, Monty. I gotta take a side. Cortek is provoking you.
Shush.
It's deliberate, Monty. I'm listening closely.
Okay.
And just you. It's like you guys were brothers in a past life or something.
More than that, they've spent a lot of lives together.
Yeah, you two need to go for a group
Like-
reading.
2,000 or something, 10,000 even.
Oh my God.
No, I allow it. I've given consent. At any point, I could burn his house down and end his bloodline. But, you know, as the space judges in Futurama, I'll allow it.
Anywho, you notice how Madonna's turned into our modern day Michael Jackson?
No. Michael Jackson was good.
The degradation on the planet is getting quite intense. It's true.
Well, it's more. That's part of the unveiling. Like, the world's terrible now. No, it's been like this all the time. It's more obvious now.
I mean,
So
even
if
at the
you-
risking level, you know.
Oh,
I got punched in the head the other day on the street.
What? What?
Yeah.
What happened?
Some ice freak, I think he was.
Meth is a
ice?
hell of a drug. Meth.
I was just mouthing off at him as he was mouthing off at me, and I had a bit of a laugh about it. He didn't like the way I laughed, and he ended up taking coins at me at first, like trying to hit me in the head, sort of thing, really hard.
Did you catch him with your
What?
guitar case?
And then next thing you know, he's gone away again, and some other dude says, "Oh, that was funny." I says, "Yeah." Some people just don't, I've met them a lot over the years. They just don't like the vibe, and they get really icky,
Nut bags.
And and anyway,
Yeah, I mean, we'll skip over the fact that you egg it on and you create instant
so-
karma and have your crap beaten out of you. But,
Were you taking fun of him in song form?
he heard that, and I was making fun of him. I laughed because when I started a song, he said beep off, and I said beep you as he walked into the shop, and as he called out to me when he walked in, and I thought it was funny, because people sometimes do that.
Is this the same story as a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
or was it different?
Yeah.
too?
Nobody.
Same dude.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So, but the street level, people are just going off as well, and also the money, because being a busker, you get an indicator of the financial surges on the markets because people give to what they feel, and you can tell, we're coming into a tight pinch because it's been a bit tight out there recently,
Yeah, right, okay. You can feel the trend of whether people feel generous or not.
What gave it
Depending
away?
on-
What gave it away? The $2 a litre petrol?
Yeah, well, it's happening everywhere, Or you can still give it 175.
What timeline are you from? Because it's up to 199 all around here.
Oh no, I'll get around. I know a few good spots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully you don't own a van because that came out really creepily.
Free lollies?
Yeah, I know a few spots.
Free candy?
Hey. Anyway, no, but no, these guys are spot on. I really appreciate what you bring to the table tonight. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Lol 18.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for licking our balls. Can we get back to the round table?
Yes,
Well,
Bruce, your second question was?
I'm
What was
just
the second
busting
question?
balls, Harry. I can't express myself like 100% in Spanish yet. They're really the U.S. dollar. Its supremacy is taken. This is deliberate, okay? Joe Biden and his team have done this. I mean, I think Hillary Clinton wanted to do this.
Your
People
connection is
shit on
getting
Trump all the
bad.
time, okay?
Your connection is getting
Really?
bad. Yeah. Were you uploading something?
Yes,
Well,
he
no,
should-
I sent a picture to all of you guys.
There you
I'm
go.
getting a
No.
little. I'm getting a little sick and tired of the Madison Avenue Edward Bernays propaganda that's going into the little Jew that could Zelensky. You know, it's really annoying. I don't think he's a very good guy. I think it would be literally impossible to be a CIA inserted leader of a completely corrupt country and be a good guy. So
No, he's just an actor.
you can call me intolerant and prejudiced and backward in my thinking, but that's just my stubborn prejudice. Excuse me.
Well, you also have the decades of history of the CIA, because I don't remember them doing anything good at all.
It's what they do.
Well, I'd say at an intelligence level, there's absolutely no doubt that the Mossad is running the show now. So the central organization for this whole Ukrainian thing is Israel. Okay, the provocations, the biolabs, it's all Israel. Okay, and this isn't a bad Jew diatribe. Like 95% of people of the Jewish faith and race have no idea what's going on at the top level. Holy shit, that's the fastest first hour ever.
Yeah, I decided to let you run for it. So there you go. We are halfway of a very interesting Planet Collingwood. We shall return after these messages. I'm going to seek for my cat, so I don't have to hear the messages. You're listening to Revolution Radio, Studio A, Planet Collingwood. See you soon. So basically, I'm up to where Mary and Pippin are talking to Treebeard at the Entmoot and Helm's Deep. And welcome back to Revolution Radio from slips.com. This is Studio A, and you're listening to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. If you enjoyed the last hour, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and click on the Patreon button and donate what you can within reason. A cup of coffee here, a small house there, whatever is possible for your budget, because we're going to need it, because everything's going to go up, because we're run by morons. The planet is ruled by psychopaths and run by idiots. And once you've donated to the station, pop into the merch, see what you like, caps and T-shirts and all great stuff like that. And then pop into the chat room there, and they're trying to figure out what we're talking about, and I'm kind of there as well. It's quite funny. I have been joined by Cortek, Raz, Bruce MacDonald, Micheal, and Harry, who has a much better microphone setup this week. He doesn't sound like he's in a wind tunnel that was pushed under about 4 tons of leaves. So a win-win situation all the way.
Yay, Harry. Hey, did you get an iPhone 13 mini, Harry?
Pardon?
Did you get an iPhone 13 mini?
No one's buying Apple these days, are they?
No, I've got a what is it? An Asus laptop.
Oh, but you sound fantastic. What do the kids go for in cell phones these days, Cortek?
I don't know. Android. I'm just introduced OS,
What, they get a data? That's awesome.
Well, you can plug it into your computer. You can transfer files. You're not stuck behind some payment gateway, which is iTunes. You just, if you want to use it as a removable hard drive, use it as a removable hard drive.
Oh, speaking of which, Picard 2 season 2 has started, and it doesn't really work because he's just a Cylon. But they brought Q back, the character, not the Anon.
Oh, wow.
You sound really impressed by it.
Oh, but the weird thing is, the first episode is completely better than the entire first season. The first episode's not that good, but that just points out how crap the first season was.
Yeah, I gave up after 4 episodes.
Yeah, mainly because Patrick Stewart's he's 103, and make mine a chocolate.
Full thrusters.
Help me.
Here's another article from Xinhua. This one just came out 4 hours ago. China urges U.S. to release details of biolabs in Ukraine. The U.S. biomilitary activities in Ukraine are only the tip of the iceberg. Direct quote from Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian. So look,
but that's already happened because,
as
I said, it happened in a Senate committee.
Okay. Look, Monty, that's not what I'm getting at, okay? But thank you for trying to finish my thought. What we're getting at here is that if you want to know what's going on, don't listen to the ginger mutant Borg, Jen Psaki, Biden's press secretary. It's nothing but lies and bullshit. They've been asked about China, and they say, oh, China is not neutral. everybody stop and take notice of this. China is not neutral to this, okay? They're not aggressive, but they're not neutral. So what's going to happen here? Uncle Joe is going to diddle the entire U.S. economy into the ditch, and China is just waiting. It's like following a drunk out of a bar, waiting until they pass out in an alley and taking their wallet. That's China's role in this, okay? I mean, they're going to, this is a windfall for them, okay? They've already established a new trading bloc, as the previous Twitter tweet I read pointed out, and now they're demanding that all of this military stuff in the Ukraine be detailed for the world and let us know what the dangers are for the whole world. So China's not neutral. So there's gonna be no war with Russia, okay? This and this idea of moving troops to Poland, okay, Putin has already said he's not going to invade any other countries. He's not going to. Oh well, we don't believe him. He said he wasn't going to invade Ukraine unless the genocide of ethnic Russians in Donbass and the other part started up again. Well, Zelensky got that going up again. You know, why couldn't, if he's running the country and he's the big hero, why didn't he shut that down? Why didn't he shut down genocide in his own country? Okay? Putin was provoked to do this. He had no choice. We're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Get that through your head.
Why
We're the bad
the
guys.
Warsaw Pact was dissolved? Why wasn't NATO also dissolved?
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
I mean, NATO was created to stop the Soviet Union, and that stopped 32 years ago. So why is NATO still existing?
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So we're in a real pickle here, boys. This is a real pickle. I don't think it's going to. I think the way they're going to kill people is much more systematic. This is not World War III. I know the crazy Christian crackers want it to be because their holy book tells them, or that's the way they've interpreted. I think it's a wrong interpretation. But it's not World War III. But it's going to be like a war because like almost that many people are going to die. But it's all going to be these diseases, ailments, artificial immune deficiency syndrome, and all of the coming health nightmares in the next decade, okay? Accelerated cancers. If you're double vaxxed with 2 boosters now, if you get cancer, it's going to rip you apart in like 1/10 the time it would normally do, okay?
Yeah.
You're going to get diagnosed and die 48 hours later, okay? And it's just a horror show. And the fact... And one final point, Monty, and I know I'm ranting a bit tonight, but look, final point, okay? Your enemy is not Joe Biden. Your enemy is not Justin Trudeau. Your enemy is not whoever the twat is in Australia. Your enemy are the idiots who can't get this through their head, your fellow citizens. It's time to shake and rattle people. Give your mom a slap if she doesn't get it. Give your brother a punch if he doesn't get it. We're at that point now. Yell in their face. Let them feel the spittle from your mouth as you're screaming at them. Okay? They have to get this. They have to get this. There are times when you can sit things out. I'm a master at that. I moved to the friggin' rainforest and built an earth bag house, right? Right? You can be agnostic to certain things. You can be yogically detached from the world, and that's fine. That's all good at certain stages of life. This isn't one.
Yeah.
This requires engagement. Okay? You got. I'm on with my iPhone 13 mini and it's voice to text. I'm all over the place. Okay? All right. I'm all like Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's almost like a full-time job. Somebody should be paying me to do this. But I'm just doing it because it needs to be done. Yeah. It needs to be done. And for God's sake, do not talk crazy shit. They're normies. Don't talk about religion. Don't talk about extraterrestrials. Don't talk about black goo. Don't talk about MK Ultra. You gotta find a way to get your message to them without their internal censor shutting you down so you sound crazy.
Yeah, you got to start off slow. Can you start with Mockingbird? Because that's like a real thing that never got shut down.
No, that's still in the realm of crazy.
What do you start out with?
I do know something you don't start out with, and that's baby raping lizard wizards. You lose them straight away if you start with that. Yeah. I mean, there are 4 of them, and they don't control the world, but yeah, it just Mind you,
Lol 19.
yeah, I don't know if because I'm a Pisces, I've just disconnected and I'm just worrying about my cat. And so, yeah, mainly because I've been trying to wake people up for over a decade and a half, and I'm tired.
Yeah.
So-
What most people are going through is that everyone's going through these things at their own kind of pace, and you can't really force these conversations on people. And most people who have jumped down the rabbit hole of 9/11 started looking into history themselves then, and this is their second false flag, and a lot of people this is their first false flag. It's
Some people will never look into history.
It has made most people who did it then feel less than enthusiastic about having those conversations where there might be a lot of a lot of occasions where people don't want to ask those big questions because it makes more questions for them.
Well, they also don't want their reality to collapse because they've been lied to by the mainstream for decades.
Yeah, but it's so true. This is something that we can't do
Anything
individually. It's a collective thing, and it's really up to us to kind of, I don't know, have conversations with people that make them.
Yeah,
see.
but also, if I can add to be a hint of a pessimist is, I've been enjoying my birthday a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all, but from
You can be
afar,
a pessimist.
I am not ready for a relationship. The man with a stick doesn't care about your piece of paper as well, and so there's that element of you have to, Stephen Crowder, fight like hell, but it's not the traditional. It's not the French Revolution style of things, because that's going to end up very ugly very quickly. And take a leaf out of Bruce's book of like, be self-sustaining, raise your vibration, create your own reality, do all that awesome stuff. Still can be a neutral observer of what's going on, and especially when people ask you questions, don't spittle at them.
Yeah. Well, I like that, but that was very graphic, and
I understand. But it's
because I think
but also you are correct. You are correct, Cortek. Like, where do you start? Just money. Money's always a good start. The Federal Reserve, because you bring that up, like the central banks, and then you drop that truth bomb of that was in 1913, and it's been over a century, and the constant lying.
How fast do you get to what can I do?
As far as what you can do, all I'm doing is I'm slowly ambling my way to get everything out of the house and sold and gone, and move into my little caravan, which I've just bought a 6,000 watt wind turbine for.
Nice.
And I've got to go battery bank and set it all up.
Have you seen the latest turbines? Are like, there's just this wobbly pole.
The interesting thing hello. Ooh, is this thing on? The interesting thing is, wrong time for that.
You're provoking.
I'll go, yeah. The interesting thing is, you're careful, you'll end up in a van living by a river. In the 90s, that was an insult.
Sweet.
Yeah, in the 90s, that was an insult. Now, if you've got $45,000, you can do that.
It's quite a luxury, actually.
Yeah, exactly. It's the high-end prepping, yeah. But also, I just want to quickly acknowledge all the preppers out there. We know you're right. Don't rub it in our faces. Go ahead, Raz.
So, just to follow up on Brucey and Cortek and all that. So, what can we do? Post stuff for them, post stuff on a normie level. That's why I've been harvesting so many things. There's a lot of infos in it on how to talk to people about it. But I know a portion cannot be convinced. A portion will never do the legwork.
What percentage would you apply to that portion? What are we dealing with? If you had to just ballpark figure.
In the unawakened, assuming the unawakened as 100% sample, 30-40% of them you just can't convince them. You can convince 60% of them at least. I'm being optimistic here.
Yeah, let's be
But
optimistic.
40% of them, you will not be able to convince them. They will be in the shitter, as we
Maybe
can
it's
say.
like a domino
Look at
effect,
the
and they
time
get
frame.
affected only when the
Well,
other percentage block
it's-
gets
No,
affected.
no.
Because
They will
basically
live
they're
life-
just looking who to get influence from, and that's not really
They
where
will
they
live
should be
life
looking.
and they will die. That's it.
It's kind of, negative.
It is sombre. It is morose. I get it, but that's just how it is for that.
Yeah, well,
percentage.
all right. Let's just
Now,
let me step
there's a
in here
reason-
and disappoint it.
There's a
Okay, keep
reason I'm
going.
bringing
Finish
that-
it off quickly.
There's
I
a
think they
reason
get
I'm
what they
bringing it
want.
up is
I think
because
everybody gets what they want.
the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's necessary for us to know so we can adequately triage the amount of time and effort we have and focus on those who are awakenable and those who cannot just ignore them and go through the next one.
So how do we tell one from the other?
The ones that like to hear what you're saying aren't throwing chairs at you.
Actually, it turns out there's a certain breed of dog that can tell the difference, like in a certain Terminator movie.
What does dog have to do with it already?
It's the Frankfurter. You got to do patrols with a Frankfurter dog.
Frankfurt. You mean an Alsatian, because you can't say German Shepherd because it's World War One.
No, funny looking dog. Dog that's not,
The sausage dog.
funny, not funny.
Call them
Yeah. Someone hands Cortek a shovel. He's digging quickly, and he has gas.
I hate that sound.
Yeah, it's so yeah. It's one of those things of I'm old because I want to punch anyone that does that.
It's grating, very grating.
Yes.
Cortek?
And
Is that Cortek?
hello.
That sound? Is that Cortek with that sound?
Yes.
I thought
This is
Monty was doing it.
Very, very provocative. That Cortek. Provoke.
And
Very
remember,
provocative.
Battle Cat's other name was Cringer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Speaking about cats, I had Dribble Chops come and visit me today. The neighborhood cat.
How's he going, or is it a she?
He.
is that like something you have to affix to every cat name in Australia? Chops.
Well, he's Chops Dribble.
What are the chances that would be two guys from Australia on a round table with the word chops in their cat's name?
It's total coincidence.
Chops go on the Barbie, mate.
I don't know, maybe it's like Shire and Stan for country name, like Hindustan, Pakistan, Derbyshire, Southern Shire,
that's all.
Filthy Chop, Scuff Chop.
That's been removed from history. Is there's a guy called Stan that conquered most of the South or the West Asian countries, and they're all named after him.
We must be genetically
Was he Tartarian?
Yeah, it was actually Kublai Khan's younger brother, Stan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stambler Khan.
But maybe because I'm British.
Oh no, it's Genghis Stan. That's it.
Are you British?
All right. From
Well,
now
he's white.
on,
He lives in Australia. And he's
French
white.
cats
Most
will end
likely
with
he's.
Jean-Pierre. We need to do it. Jean-Pierre, all French cats.
Yeah.
Oh, Britannia was away.
Well, actually, what was the French like? In World War One, the English were called Tommies. No, I think the English would call the French bollocks, but the Germans were Fritz and the English were Tommies. What were the French?
I don't know. You tell me.
Louis Pasteur's?
No, that's not really. Yeah, of course, that's what the soldier in the trench. Oh, the Tommies are coming, but we've got the Louis Pasteurs following us.
Maybe something to do with the love of cheese or frogs.
Oh, frogs.
Oh,
yeah,
the frogs, yeah. Mind you, I mean, Australians call Americans seppos, so
Yeah.
That's right.
Cheese eating
Diggers.
surrender monkey.
Well, yeah,
something I heard in New Zealand. Is Pommy prisoner of the Majesty or something?
Majesty, I believe. Well, that's the rumor. We'll just say it's a rumor because the convicts in all the states except Victoria, they had POM written on them, which is prisoner of Majesty.
Because
Allegedly.
I met someone and we were talking and she's like, I'm married. I'm like, who is like, oh, I'm married to a Pommy. I'm like, what's Pommy?
Yeah, it's an Australian term for English.
I wanted to know what it stands for.
Yeah, well, that's a rumor. I don't know. It's like that whole, the 2-finger salute, where it's like the 1-finger salute, but in Britain they do that. Now the story is during the French-English War, when the longbow was invented, the French were told to find English archers and cut off those 2 fingers, and apparently the English found out and just wave those 2 fingers at the French. But apparently that's not true. But still, it's an insult, and I like the story.
Is it not true?
I don't know. I don't have memory. I'm a time traveler, but I'm doing it the backward way, where I'm trying to slow time down instead of speeding up.
Actually, what really happened was it's the biggest finger to pick your nose, and someone on the other side caught them doing it.
Hey yo.
Remember to donate to Revolution Radio so you can have that level of comedy.
Monty, can I bring a special guest on?
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, just touch and go there for a second.
Continue conversing, and I'll bring him in. You guys got the latest Skype now? The one that gives you the new screen layout and everything?
Yes. I hate this.
Nice.
Works perfectly,
nice.
So we'll change it. Yeah.
I kind of like it actually.
Oh, well,
How do I add somebody? Where's the add button on this?
The participants icon at the bottom on the left.
Yep. Thank you, Monty.
Yeah, don't worry. It took me 3 weeks to find that out because I'm like, how do I add people to this call? And and then for me anyway, if I click participants, you have to click the participant plus sign in the top right-hand corner. Because if anyone new to Planet Collingwood, we actually have production meetings on air. We're that transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you want to see something funny while we're waiting for our new guest?
Oh, okay. On an audio medium? Yeah, that'll be fantastic.
Be as a chicken head. I'm a chicken head.
And I thank God that our audience can't see that. So, I would say, sir, you need a hobby.
That is the hobby.
What was that abomination?
I don't know if I'm amused or disturbed.
That was a Ukrainian biolab creation or something? The latest Resident Evil nemesis? What was that?
No, it was actually from Pine Gap. It's old school, that's third generation chicken head man.
Well, there's a Galactic Federation out there. They'd like to see it.
Yeah, blue chickens taste
Morgan
lovely,
Freeman.
by the way. Yeah, all right, stop that. You're eating up the bandwidth.
Tell us about penguins, Morgan.
I can't do. I wish I could do a Morgan Freeman impersonation.
It's interesting. It's been so long. I wiped that out of my brain. His cadences.
Is the individual on who was supposed to be on brought in by Monty?
Yeah.
No.
Andy Euphraim was a strange man.
Hey, show you a bit of my photography I'm working on and making a lamp out of.
All right, you do realise this is a radio show. What's with all the visual stuff?
Let's describe it
Let's describe it visually.
I just stopped myself. That's not going to work.
Yeah, that's it. Started out well and just fell into abyss, didn't it?
You're trying to do visuals in Braille, dude.
Can we do that? Can we try and do that? Is that hard to do? I've never tried that before.
We did it out in colour. And
so
then
I'm looking at a lampshade with all kinds of butterflies over it, and a picture on the side, and the picture on the side's kind of cool.
Can you do an Edinburgh voice for that?
Here we see the fly larvae in its natural environment, about to lay a big old shit with more flies coming out of it.
Connected to a lamp that has been repurposed, that is using 240 AC current.
It looks like blood splatters from Halloween.
Yeah. So is this special guest so special that they're not guesting?
I think that was a kind of early call. Maybe that was an early call.
I'm writing it already. I mean, yeah, he hasn't even called. Oh, here he comes.
See, synchronicity, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think. Oh, here he is.
I hit the wrong button on the Skype outlet here.
Okay, yeah. This awesome Scout, this new Skype outlet, yeah.
Why does everything have to have more than one button all the time? Just jokes. That was me channeling a lot of
2022 and nothing works. That's another one. Dear me. So yeah, I hope the dear listener is enjoying this show. I'm just going to call it my birthday show because I have no idea what we're talking about. We're bouncing around all over the place where we can go from Ukraine to ascending to being an ascended master in 3 weeks in 30 seconds.
I think we should hit the 3 months to a week to 30 seconds in about maybe a month.
Well, Cortek, I got a question for you. How many weeks has it been to flatten the curve?
We are approximately at 104 weeks.
No, that's 2 years.
We cracked 100 not too long ago.
Yeah, because what is it, the 16th of March or the 19th of March? It was the third week
honest,
of March.
I lost track after 100.
Yeah, so I think it's 103 weeks to flatten the curve.
I was conflicted of whether
now here's a question.
should be celebrating the centenary.
What should I get people? Because it's the second anniversary of flattening the curve. What is that? Is that paper, or is that And I was caught out when the Ukrainian thing happened because I had all my COVID decorations up and I didn't realize we went to war.
No,
now
did you get the memo?
We have been joined by a phone number. Bruce, would you like to do the honors?
I'll let him speak from himself.
Thank you, Bruce, for bringing me in the call.
You're welcome, buddy.
I'm not in my.
He's got a
PhD
in catfishing.
Is that mince? Is that mince meat?
Yeah, the visual thing, Cortek. Let the guest talk.
That wasn't me.
I was just trying to be a mince spy.
Before I go any further, I would like to say, Monty, remember the day when I posted the pic of your show with wild ass lights on my ceiling fan, and you posted it on your timeline, and I just like to say happy birthday, Monty, and yesterday actually.
Still in Hawaii. In Hawaii, it's still my birthday.
Keep it going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Monty.
You are talking about so many very serious subjects. The only way we can keep our minds sane is we have to have shows like yours, Monty, because if you cannot laugh, you will go insane. Over.
Well, the whole concept of this show now is basically Gen X, when we first got 50 channels on cable, and we're just channel surfing. That's how we run the conversation. Knock, 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 knock. Oh, boobs. Knock, knock, knock. Or David Bellamy. Who's better than Edinburgh? David Bellamy was screwed because he went against this whole climate change shenanigans.
How hard was it to name a boat Boatface?
Pretty easy,
where would the world be today if it was not for George Carlton? We would have went insane. Over.
I suspect it would still be in the Milky Way galaxy. Do you want a further refinement to that question?
I think he's talking more socially instead of placement. But you did actually see. You were in the same room as George Carlin. Show off.
You both right.
All that technical writings made me so literal, Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see the 7 Dirty Words tour. My father took me when I was 13 years old to the National Arts Centre in Ottawa. It was outrageously funny, even for a 13-year-old. Outrageously funny.
If you're ever angry again at your dad, just remember that, and it will soften the blow.
Yeah.
Well, you did take me to see a god, so yeah.
Yeah. Hey, can we talk about that for a moment? Like parents and generations, because you said Gen X. So I just spoke about my father. I just get this off my chest.
Triggered.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, it's
Sorry.
it's a generational issue, as much as it is a personal issue. I really resent the wealth. This is a topic my son and I, who's 24, have hashed out quite a bit up here on this mountain. He's been up here 4 months now. Is the dilapidation of the North American lifestyle from the baby boomers till now. And do you realize that 80-90% of the circulating wealth in banks is in the baby boomer generation? This is why Bernie Sanders was talking about funding everything for free. Somebody finally called him on it and said, Bernie, where are you going to get the money? Oh, inheritance tax. The baby boomers have 67 trillion in retirement savings. And I mean, this is a tough time. Gen Xers didn't make as much money, and millennials, they're not making any money. You'd think the grandparents would kick a little money down. They don't.
They're too busy looking after themselves.
Well, also, if I can, speaking of generational, I was talking to my dad because he rang me on my birthday. That's what they do. And being Gen X, half my life I was pre-internet. Like, here's a concept for everyone who's younger than me. To make a phone call, I would actually have to be in the house because the phone was attached to the wall by a cord. And like, if you rang someone, you hoped they were at home. And so, like, with the baby boomers, they started in the 60s. And so what I'm getting at is the last, end of World War II, 75 years, 77 years. How long's it been since the end of World War II? I can't do maths.
Ages.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, Cortek.
You're right.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Cortek. Ages. Well,
it does feel like this is a systematic
but what I'm getting
eugenics approach to
what I'm getting at is humanity, society, and whatever other word that's really big that I can't spell has changed so much in 77 years. And so, like my grandparents, they're all shuffled off their mortal coil, which kind of sucks because their memories of, say, the Great Depression, where, people complain like, oh, my God, I haven't got a phone charger. Well, I lived in a shoebox in the middle of the road, that type of stuff. And so that's part of the generational stuff because, Bruce, I don't know if you'll agree, but the baby boomers are clinging to that money because they've had decades of this is how life goes. And so work for 40 years and then you'll have this payoff because you've done all the work. And yeah.
Well, the problem with their thinking is most of the work of subsequent generations is undoing the nonsense they did.
I wish politics was like that. I wish it was illegal for people to make new laws and politicians had to be renowned for finding really good ones to repeal. Because that's where we're at.
So what you're saying is we have to make a law that stops making new laws.
Yeah.
Okay. It's slightly amusing.
I'd just like to say, don't you think COVID-19 was a targeted virus? That's what they brought it about, because they brought it about to target all these baby boomers getting up under age, and they're sucklings. They're sucking all their money out, and they need to they need to dispose of them. Bring that out because they're the ones.
I think what actually happened is they tried to do that, and it kind of failed, but they still implement the plan, because they've got contingencies. If you look at the timeline when you talk, was it the 201 event and everything else like that? It wasn't supposed to happen when it did, and they've been backpedaling because
Gates was just almost like numbers to look good in amongst his new friends, and then they went go.
There's a new game out there called Where's Fauci, but we'll get to that in a second. There's been so many mistakes. They're still moving forward, but it's mistake after mistake, and humanity's got this strange thing of forgetting things, and it's because the news cycle is 24/7, and so now it's just speeding up because it's been 2 weeks. When we find journalists, actual journalism.
No, when did we?
Actually, no, I don't trust the Bible because I'm not a big fan of journalism back then. So maybe never.
Well, you would have thought they would. You would have thought they'd learned their lesson after 9/11. They screwed that one up royally.
Yeah.
Well, no, really, no. It took 20.
It
took 10, 15 years, and that spell lost its energy because most of the noughties, which is a stupid term, that worked. But you get to 2012, and there's a lot of young people that have no idea about 9/11 because they've grown up
This is a
in
lot of people's
that
first
security
false
world.
flag, yeah.
Well, the problem is no one understands deductive reasoning to sit and think things out from the things that you encounter in life, you know, and that's a lot of the problem because it's moving, like you say, too fast, and I call it like a drone chrome, okay? You're in this matrix of this seeing is believing because the eyes are the window of the soul, so to speak.
The main thing that keeps that going is cognitive dissonance, not wanting to answer a
And
question
it's like
that will lead to a bigger question that will dissolve your current theory of
They
reality.
feed into it, live into it. I mean, the culture's designed that way through sports and recreation and activities and hobbies. You know, it's designed that way to get people feeding into that whole culture.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are mistakes being made because I remember last week. Was it only last week? There was the State of the Union address where I did homework for the show and I came on and we didn't watch it. I'm like, oh.
You said you watched it for us.
Yes, and no one else did watch it. It was the lowest rating State of the Union address in 50 years, apparently.
Anything worse to watch?
Yeah, well, that's why I watch comedians watch it so they can make fun of it. But part of it was Biden actually said we should reduce the price of insulin, and he did this whole grand gesture of like, look what I'm doing. And the thing is, only less than, I'll say 2 years ago, Trump did that. He dropped the price of insulin to record low numbers price so people can actually get it. And in the first month of the Biden administration, they got rid of that and pumped it up 700%. And so now Biden's saying, oh, we should rectify this. But it was you. It was no one else.
Just undoing what they did in the first place.
And just little things like that. Like if you say that to somebody, which is based on fact, and you can show the actual numbers from blah, blah, you know, all that stuff, a lot of people won't believe it because they're afraid. It's that their belief engine, they have a bit of information outside their belief engine and it will shatter their reality. And even though
it's what Bruce said, you know, with that, you know, the Putin versus Biden, right? Is that if you've listened to Biden's address on YouTube to why he did what he did in the Ukraine, it gives you a much historically sound perspective of why he's doing what he's doing. You know, and
I think what we need to do is go old school and basically just have our leaders fight in a ringed pit, and whoever wins wins the prize. Because I think Putin will take Biden. Just putting it out there. You know, the man that wrestles bears may take Demented Joe. Go ahead, Michael.
Just real quick, as far as the State of the Union, at some point I thought there somebody was going to create a new drinking game. Every time he meant to say our Ukrainian allies, he kept saying our Iranian allies.
Well, yeah, one time he said,
"Dude, this has got to be a drinking game or something."
Well, actually, I watched Stephen Crowder and Tim Pool so I could get two perspectives. And by the end of it, I know a lot of Southern was drunk. A lot of people were drunk because their Biden game was like if he makes a flub or he forgets and all this type of stuff, he mispronounces a word, he was slurring and everything else like that. The thing is, if you did have a drinking game, if you want to get smashed, you have that in other countries, so you get really drunk. Watch that as a drinking game, and I think 30 minutes in, you'll be throwing up.
Maybe next time, if there's a Biden drinking game, you just got to halve your amounts because you know it's going to be a busy time.
Yeah, water down those drinks, people.
There's lull 20.
Thank you, scoreboard. Can we talk about Shane Warne for a second?
Oh, Shano. Did you know that, like that Infinity train, what's that funny? There's a funny Snowpiercer. So that train's actually being built now that uses regeneration of the battery to keep it going forever. If anyone actually wants
beautiful
to
movie.
It's terrible.
Beautiful movie.
I haven't seen it.
What I'd like to say is look at the very beginning of this few days war is the purpose. Putin got right out there, and he flat out said to the world, and he told the truth just like it is. And he used the word Nazi, and he went in there and basically he told the world the truth, and no one understood what he was saying when he said he's going in there and he used the word Nazi. And basically how much better could you speak the truth? You know, Nazi state of affairs, you know. That country is so frickin' corrupt. It's so evil. It's unbelievable. And Putin could not stand back no longer to do what he did, because look who pushed him in that direction, the U.S. And I think the breaking point was when Germany failed to certify the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Over.
Yeah, getting the countries in trying to enlist countries to NATO that encircle Russia is provocation.
Yeah.
You can't say it's not.
Why did Russia put its country so close to all those NATO bases? That's the real question there. I like that joke. I know I've said it many times, but it still works.
Classic.
Yeah, it just makes it's like, really, what? And Yemen, I keep pointing. Yemen is so much worse, but everyone's like la 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 la, because that's Saudi Arabia and blah blah blah, and Syria's still going off.
So I just before the show ends, I want to give a little economic context to what's happening now. Okay, so this is, I'll just read one paragraph. It's from Nixon decoupling the U.S. dollar from gold. So Nixon, it was announced on the 15th of August in '71, and it really impacted. The International Monetary Fund was stunned when he did this, okay? And there was a long period of time after this where everybody wondered what the International Monetary Fund's role was going to be because they were a regulatory agency. Do you understand? If you printed this much money, you had to have this much gold. Okay? Now listen to the reasons Nixon did this. So Nixon's decision breached the U.S.'s treaty obligations, but he had little choice. By 1970, the rest of the industrialized world had accumulated such large dollar holdings that the U.S. did not have sufficient gold to credibly keep its gold window open. So they overprinted their money. The situation was likely to continue deteriorating because in 1971, the U.S. experienced its first trade deficit of the 20th century. You all know what a trade deficit is, right?
No.
Yeah. Oh, it's when you import more than you export.
Okay.
So in international trade, you want to even everything out. You don't want to. You want your imports and exports to have the same monetary value. So this is 1970. So he breached a treaty and shook the whole world up because they couldn't honor their note. 1971, August 16th. Okay? 51 years later, nobody has resolved this situation. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse for 5 decades.
Yeah, and around that same time, I'm going from a movie called The Big Short. Around that time, they changed the financial laws as well, where being a mortgage planner or something was really boring, but they changed it where they could start betting and hedge funds and all that type of stuff. At the same time, they created the 2008, as well as add to that the Glass-Steagall Act that I think Clinton got rid of.
We got to cast our minds back to 1970 and take a moment to realize how insignificant banking was. There were no millionaire bankers. Banking was a shit job, like being a certified general accountant or something like that. Okay. So 5 years after Nixon's decision, the IMF member states agreed to end gold's monetary role and to move to a market-based system of floating exchange rates. And thus begins economic warfare and the kind of nonsense that created billionaire traders like George Soros. It all spins. If we had gold-backed currency, there'd be no billionaire currency traders like George Soros and all these scumbags who are manipulating our lives right now. Okay? This moment we're in now has been a generation and a half in the making. Okay? It's not something that suddenly happened. Okay? So now there's no way to get out of this anymore. So we hit another. So we did it again after the Cold War. Right up all through the Cold War, the fractional reserve rate was 1 to 10 in all G7 countries and everybody participating in the Bretton Woods Agreement, okay? By 1992, all countries had doubled it, 1 to 20. So do you see how so much money went into the hands of so few people now? It's not just that this war. When you look at if you look for the evidence that this is planned, you will find it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy. You go and you look and you find it. So there's no way out of this one now. There's nothing. It is finally over for the U.S. There is no more kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, if you remember the movie Zeitgeist, I remember an element of, I think that's 2007. They pointed out like the devaluing the dollar. $1 in 1913 was equivalent to $121 in 2007. That's how much it's been split and devaluated. And because, is anyone alive when they bought, what's the lowest you remember buying bread for, a loaf of bread?
I remember half a bridge being
cents.
20 cents to get across.
It was in cents. Everywhere was in cents. Even in my country, it was in cents.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the nightclub industry, and I mean, I got a lot of drinks for free. But I remember buying a pot, which is around about 300 mils of liquid. $1.80 was expensive. Now they're nearly $5 to $7. And that's the fun part of they're blaming everything that's happening in the US. They're blaming on Russia 2 weeks ago invading the Ukraine, and yet inflation has been rising. It's risen up to 7% in the last 12 months. Biden is blaming Putin for everything that he's done. And also, how they said, Donald Trump will do this, and Biden has done all those things.
Before we end, let me just follow up quickly on Bruce. Bruce saying this started decades ago, and there's nothing we can do now. Now, I'm not a guy on economics. My skills lie in social sciences, and guess what? It's the exact same. Last time I gave a history lesson on it. It's the exact same. It's been done it's been here for decades. And no one saw it. No one cared. People talk about it. You have a paper trail that goes back to it. But there's pretty much nothing we can do. Gold was removed. Fiat currency came in.
Like the system is set to fail.
Give me a second. Fiat currency came in, and with fiat currency, we have the mess that we have in here today. 2008, Larry Fink came in with his $7 trillion hedge fund. Started buying asset left, right. They started printing more money into the system, and guess where we are now? It's truly something that those guys out there are saying great reset, because I think they understand that it needs a sort of resetting. But until we get rid of fiat currency and we don't have it backed by something finite, at least I don't see a solution after this.
I would just like to say, the great reset needs to happen. And just like Bruce says, in my terms, is all we can do right now is hunker down, wait for that great wave to wash across us, hang on, and hope we don't let go and get washed away and drown with the wave. Over.
Yeah, well, the thing is with the great reset,
everything's out the window now. Education, it's going to be the world that's coming, and I don't know how long it's going to last. But you remember in the 90s after the Cold War, where in Toronto you'd get into a cab and the driver turned out to be Russian and he had like 2 PhDs and he had to drive a cab. That's what it's going to be like in our civilization.
No. Someone just said the Great Reset needs to happen. I don't think the Great Reset will happen like something that just boom bam just happen. It will be something that will be progressively done over the years, but it will not happen instantly. If you just right now reset everything economically and we start zero and everyone is given a substantial amount of money to start again, everyone is having a great life, the first thing human beings do in every simulation, when you give them money, which is food, which is space, which is water, which is no predator, they breed. And there's been a depopulation program going on. So these guys have calculated everything. You can't just wipe everything off the board. People will breed out of proportion. We will be 12, 13, 14, 15 billion people instantly. So there's something going on in there medically.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, the planet can sustain that. We just have bad management. Yeah,
But the 3D5 cents, no one knows that.
Well, no, because we're under bad management. And when we say the Great Reset, there is a positive and a negative Great Reset. The Great Reset that the World Economic Fund wants to bring in is the evil one, where you'll own nothing and you'll be happy because you'll be beaten if you're not.
Pointy shoulders.
You'll be German, but you'll have a Japanese samurai uniform. It's really weird. But what we're getting at is, like, because the system is so corrupt, there has to be a reset of some sorts. And so are we jostling for the Team Dark New World Order version, or are we going to have one that actually helps people and become to their full potential and move forward?
Yeah, is it something that's happening anyway? So should we jostle for control of the title and the terms?
I just like to say real quick, maybe my definition wasn't correctly understand. When I said a tidal wave wiping across, it isn't inevitable it's going to happen. But it's more like, I agree, it's more like the frog being put in a cold pan of water and the heat slowly being turned up. That is the Great Reset. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to take a long time, but it's going to happen. And there's nothing, no one is going to be able to stop. Or
a diachronic percolation of whatever is happening in the economy. I get it, yeah.
Now, one issue that we need is you need enforcement of accountability. And would that be the general populace protesting like the Vietnam War on steroids for months on end till the pressure is too much for the controllers?
Good old public hangings, I reckon. Rope's cheap.
You always go for the negative karmic side. That's not going to work out.
I'd have some kind of tricky trap so they have to do it themselves. So you give them a choice, so they have to.
I say bring back the guillotines. Get it over quick.
Let's
just start the whole thing all over again. Okay. We have to stop murder and war by killing people.
It's not like they weren't asking for it, frankly, at this point.
Well, I don't really see. I don't. Maybe. But
that's the way it is. I mean, we're dealing with people who know that we're quite compassionate human beings, and we really hope that these people would have some kind of spark in them that they could kind of focus on to reignite. But if that's not the case, I think we have to be no mercy, Johnny, kind of Karate Kid on that shit.
So we become them.
No, we work out some kind of thing, so they have to do it themselves, but then that's their own choice.
Pink Floyd.
It's like that movie. It's like Saw. We work out Saw rooms for them, basically.
Pink Floyd, The Wall, that movie.
It's like tribal justice.
When they all go through the meat grinder.
It's like justice, and then we'll make it interactive. It'll be great.
Yeah, I just don't see it working out well, but that's just me.
You need to see these things sometimes.
I just, we have to stop violent people by being violent. Okay.
No, it's not us being violent. It's them being violent about, unto themselves because they understand the violence they've brought on others.
Yeah, right. Have you tried to convince anyone to do anything? Oh, by the way, you're a bad person. Kill yourself. No.
It's like magician's choice. So when you go, here, pick a card, any card, and you got two cards, and they go, I'll pick that one. They don't know if them pointing to that card means they want you to take that card away or to give that card. So it works out either way.
Over. But we don't want to become a sheeple. Over.
No. And we want to hope that everyone has the power in themselves to find out what would be more productive.
Yeah, I find it interesting. Well, you need people to do this. It's like, yeah, good luck with that. Because, try and get people to buy Amway. It's not easy.
So to end the show on a very happy note, my cats are knocked up again.
Hey, sluts! They're all sluts.
I'll tell you, these cats reproduce really, really fast because even I have 9 cats at this point. It's insane. The good thing is the 2 females that were giving birth a lot disappeared, so we were very happy. But they left like 3. They left 3 kitties, 2 female, 1 male. We gave 1 female away, and we're just taking care of the 3 kitties right now.
I had my cat D6. I'm not playing that game.
I'm pretty sure there's a backlog of people wanting to control them, and that's why they're breeding so much.
Well, Bruce, if you let those cats give birth and keep them outdoors, you won't have that problem. Over.
Okay, so Darryl, getting invited into the call was all I promised. Actually, speaking is another level of permission. You need to ask Monty.
Well, that went down well.
Monty,
Pause 21. 21.
Happy birthday, Monty.
Thank
I
you,
was just
sir.
teeing up your joke there, Monty.
Uh-huh.
I knew you'd come through.
Yeah. And we're at the end of the show. That was Playing Collingwood. Thank you for listening. Any final thoughts? And make them short. Cortek?
The name of the show should be The Comedy That Entails Ukrainian Biolab, Genocide, World Reset, World Suffering, You Crying, Little Babies Crying, No Puppy Dogs, No Rainbows. There you go. Name the show that.
Unfortunately, that won't fit on a T-shirt. And thank you, Cortek, for your Raz impression. It was fantastic.
Was it? Did I just do that? Yeah, no, that's good. I've been practicing.
Cortek.
Whoa.
Oh, hey,
No, I think Raz was onto it. I think we call it you can do it. Just taking the first letter from each of the other words of that title.
Yeah, I know it's your first day, but really, Raz. Well, any final thoughts that are short?
Thank
you very much.
Nothing.
Right, there you go. Oh wait, well, you did share 2 hours. Let's be fair. Bruce, any passing thoughts for our dear listener?
Stay positive and keep yourself spiritually centered, man. Difficult times haven't even really started yet. This is just a warm up.
Yeah, so maybe not listen back to this then. Micheal, thank you for joining again. Unfortunately, no soundtrack this time. No, we didn't hear you moving shelves and stuff. But any passing thoughts, sir?
No, just you guys were talking about techniques when you're talking to somebody about this stuff. I got the blessing of watching a friend through the regular media and what's going on, realize what's going on.
Well, as he gets drowned out,
cool.
Harry, I'll just say that you are playing music. You have been listening to Planet Collingwood. This is Studio A on Revolution Radio. We will see you next week in 6 days and 22 hours. I'm running out of breath.